all for coming this evening on a warm and muggy night. We don't have a complicated agenda tonight, but we have a few things that we want to get done and probably some things to talk about. If you want to address the board, or please come up to the front. We've been having trouble getting everything recorded, and as you can imagine, putting together the minutes of the last couple of select board meetings has been a challenge. So come up, state your name, and right here in the corner, that way we can get it on both videotapes. Mike, this one's your private one, right?
Yeah, this one.
That one's your private one, that's the town one.
This is my private / backup review and on the media.
Okay, thank you so much. All right. Review. Yeah,
Hey, Larry.
it should be in your.
Want to get you one?
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, review of the minutes. You still have not incorporated the Margaret's notes. Oh, you have? Okay. I have not read the 6:16 minutes. Yes. Would you like to put that on hold until next time?
Until next one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, I have read the 7:28 minutes.
I haven't been able to finish them yet. They're so long.
They are. I move that we accept the 28 minutes, the 7:28 minutes. If you want to have finish reviewing them though before we approve them, I mean not tonight. We can do it next time.
Okay.
Okay. And I have not looked at the 8/11 minutes yet. Okay. The 7:28 minutes are up on the website, the town website, and we'll get the 8/11 minutes up there tomorrow. Okay. Review of the manifest. Larry, I took a look at it. Do you have any questions about it?
No, I don't. I looked at it.
Here's a copy of that.
No, I don't. Yes, sir. Manifest?
Manifest. There it is. All right.
That's the only copy.
Okay, great. I move that we accept the manifest for August 25th, 2016.
Second?
Any further discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Artie, you want to sign some checks?
Before we scan the checks, Larry Walker, your dad's, is override, which I don't think he should be. Ernie, you take it out of retirement. We'll take it out of retirement. I don't know if we really should be from Ernie. He's retired. So he's a part-timer.
At times.
His check has been timed. They want to check with him.
Oh, really? Okay, all right.
If you give me the check, so refer to that.
Okay,
I'm going to look at the one you scanned for.
okay.
But I don't know.
No,
I don't have the answer to that.
I wouldn't think of retirement if you take it out of it, but.
None of their on retired.
Right, right.
I don't know the answer. But one has it and one doesn't. So I would assume either a bookkeeper or the
All right.
retired person.
I'll check with it, yeah.
So what do you want to do with this? You want me to sign the checks or reissue another one?
Why don't you not sign the check that has the retirement date out of it? Okay, sign
So
it.
that would be Ernest.
All right,
Yep.
and I'll check with Bev, and we'll get another one made out to Ernie if it turns out that this one's wrong.
Can you put that in the minutes so we don't have to wait for 2 weeks for another check?
Okay. You got that on? Okay, great. Thank you. All right.
That was actually Karen who picked that up.
Thank you, Karen. I appreciate that. All right. Last select meeting, we had some questions come up regarding where are we on the budget. question. We checked with the bookkeeper, who posts these reports every couple of weeks, and we will begin posting them on the town website. But I want you to know that the basic facts are that we've got, if you can believe it or not, we have about 35% of the year left. We've already gone through 65% of 2016. And we have 36% of the budget left. So we're 1 point over the line here, and that's good, and that's on the positive. We do have, this is all broken down by our various budget categories. And so up on the website, you'll be able to look at that. We'll post it, and the highway one is separate with several other, its own separate categories. We'll have that up too. I want to mention that we do have some expenses coming up for highway with regard to equipment repair. And Larry will get into that in just a second. But as far as the budget goes, budget to actual expenses to what we budgeted, we're looking pretty good so far this year, which is good news. Okay. Larry, you want to talk about highway? What's going on with highway?
We've been going through some of the equipment and vehicles and repairing them. We hired Brian Souza to take and grade the roads last week, and when we went to use the grader, it couldn't be started. The wiring has burned up or something has happened to it in the past, so we couldn't use the key to start it, and we couldn't get it started. So we hired a mechanic to come look at it. He diagnosed it, and we had him fix it so that now it can be started. Now the only other problem is it's only running on front brakes. The rear brakes aren't functional, so we're trying to figure out what to do about that now.
You said the mechanic said that it was usable with just front brakes.
The mechanic said that he drove around, after he got it so he could start it, he drove around and he said that the front brakes held, he thought they held good.
Okay. I think we need to check with the insurance company, though, whether there's a
Yeah.
liability issue with a grader with no rear brakes. And if there is, then we're going to have to get the rear brakes fixed, and that's not good.
And that could be an expensive venture too. And I'm getting estimates for that to find out what it would cost to fix the brakes. It has to go to a special place to be done because it takes special tools to change the brakes.
The mechanic for that's in Concord.
The closest one that I know of offhand is Chadwick Bay Ross in Concord that would be able to fix that. But I haven't looked further to see if there's anybody closer or anybody else yet. But I'm going to look into it to see if there's other options for people to repair it.
If we wind up having to use the Concord mechanic, do you know if we would have to get the grader to them, or would they come up and pick it up, or would they do the work on site?
There's probably both options. I would have to talk to them about it first. They may be able to pick it up, which will be a charge for it.
Yeah.
Or they
If they have a
require
mobile
us.
service, they'll come right to there and fix it right on site. We use them in the past for
Yeah.
fixing skidders and stuff.
Okay.
It's a big savings as compared to a hauling machine down there. They'd rather fix it on site.
Okay. Well, that's good to know.
Now, the only problem is the mechanic that did the work on it. He said that it needed a 100-pound press in order to get the wheels off and on to fix the brakes, and that was the reason why he wouldn't even try to attempt it.
Okay. Well,
So whether somebody could do it on site or not, I don't know. But I'm going to look into it.
For something like that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'll check with the insurance company about the liability issues, but I'm going to make those calls under the assumption that we have to have all the brakes.
Right. That was my assumption.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
And truck number 3, I used it. Was finally able to use it last Friday.
This is the pickup.
The Ford pickup. I use that because I've been making rounds once a week, checking all the roads, making sure that there aren't trees that are going to fall down or roads that get undermined that are going to be a problem for people. And last week, before that, I've been using my own vehicle to do it. And last week, I used the Ford F-250, the red one, to do it. And in using that truck, I discovered that it had some pretty serious problems. So I took it to a mechanic to have it checked out. and it needs about $2,000 worth of work. This front end work needs to be done. A rear wheel seal is leaking grease onto the brakes. The exhaust is all rotted. At least it needs a hanger, but it's close to close to collapsing. So, and then the front universal joints, outer universal joints, the driver's side is frozen, so we tried to steer it. It fights you, and the right side is loose. And then also the damper piston for the steering is bent really bad. Needs to be replaced.
Is it worth repairing?
Yeah, what do you think?
That's a lot of work, but
Is it worth spending $2,000 on that truck?
I think it would be worthwhile spending $2,000 on that than trying to go out and find another one. The rest of the truck seems to be good enough shape. There is some body damage on the rear, but it's light damage. It doesn't seem to have serious rust problems that I could see of.
Was there any problems with the rear end of that? Did the rear differential, besides that seal leaking?
Not that I'm aware of. Not that I noticed driving it. The only thing I did notice was it also needs a backup alarm, which would be installed on it. It hasn't had one. And it needs it.
If you got questions or comments about this, we'll get to the public input section here. I just want Larry to finish your report. The road agent hiring committee.
The road agent hiring committee is slated to meet this coming Wednesday to start the process of putting an ad in the paper, looking for somebody, picking out potential people.
Okay, August 31st.
August 31st, yes.
There's also through the University of New Hampshire, there's a listserv for public employees of road crews and things like that, so we'll put the ad there too. I get those ads all the time from other highway departments around the state, so we'll put it in there as well. And we already have 2 applications? 3?
You have to ask Colin. I'm not sure.
2. Okay.
2?
All right, great.
So there's a good start.
Then, last but not least, we still need to develop a list of contractors who we could have on call in case we have an emergency, or even just to do some work before fall and summer are over.
Right. I've started putting together a list of local contractors that I can think of. I didn't bring it with me tonight because it isn't completed.
Okay, all right, that's great.
There are some projects that if we really need to do this fall,
I think so.
it would be wise to get somebody to do it.
Okay, great. If you have any comments or questions about highway specifically, let's talk about that right now. Again, come on up here if you have anything you want to say about highway at all. Go ahead, Jim.
So I'd like to suggest Morton sand and gravel for operators, Larry Bixby. You guys have purchased sand for your winter maintenance for the last 20, 25 years. They're A1 operators and they'll take care of what needs to be done.
Okay.
It's a
Okay.
contract.
Okay, great. All right.
More in sand and gravel.
They're just
They've done a whole bunch too.
Yeah, they're really good people.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of business with them too.
They'll take care of it.
they're just out there on 25C, right?
118.
No, it's actually 20.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Becky?
Yeah, I don't like to talk about it. I'm going to say after living here for 2 years, it is the first time ever that somebody beats Dave and I out to pick up the trees on the road. So I believe that's Larry. That's an awesome job. Last Sunday I had to go to Lebanon, and so I caught a tree down just past the Sunders. Had to turn around and go all the long way, and then text Dave. And when I came back in an hour, that tree was gone. That has never happened. I mean, we could go out 2 hours later and then go to see anyone. So thank you. It's awesome.
Larry, are you putting in your application for road agent?
You're on it. Larry, go on. Great job.
Mike?
I believe the end of last February or March, Dean replaced the rear end in a pickup.
Did he?
Yes.
That does sound familiar.
We won't go into details, but I see that on jack stands, the rear end was not.
All right, okay. Thanks.
Yeah, there's definitely
And that was
money spent on that. I saw.
Yeah,
something about that.
Okay.
how old was that?
I'll take care of it.
Oh, that's right, okay. That's right. Larry Senior and Ernie worked on the clogged culverts on North Dorchester Road today.
Yep, and now all dug out and functional, so if we get the major rains of the fall, we'll be all set. The road won't wash away.
Becky, so even, you
Yeah.
know, the roads will even be drained.
Yeah, the dog keeps listening.
Okay, all right, okay, all right.
They
That's
also,
North Dorchester.
they also stopped the intersection at Bickford Woods and Streeter Woods too.
That's, yes, okay. And then tomorrow, you're gonna work on the washout that's there just below D acres? Okay, all right. All right. Great, well, it's terrific that we've had people step up and really help out in this interim period. Brian, I really want to thank you.
Thanks, Frank.
Brian's using his days off. He's got a little girl at home. I can't imagine that Kelda is thrilled with you spending your days off out doing highway stuff. So it's a great thing you're doing for the town. And Ernie and your father as well. It's really helpful. Okay. All right. New business.
Now,
Oh, I'm sorry.
do we want to spend the 2,000 on the truck?
Oh, on truck 3?
Yep, we need to make a motion to spend that money on that.
What year was that truck? I'm sorry, what year was that truck?
I'm not sure, 2005, 2004, somewhere around there.
Yeah, David?
You got a second opinion? Another mechanic?
Sure.
I seen that I'm a mechanic myself. I've been working with Dodge for 16 years, but a 1 ton to 1 ton, 3/4 ton to 3/4 ton, we would run the same rear ends and so we run basically the same ball joints from getting to it. I could probably do the work for less than that, but I didn't know what logistics is with the town, payment of parts, etc. I'll eat the labor just to help the town out.
Well, we have accounts at auto supply places, so that's
The
we
biggest
have to
concern,
pay for parts out of your
the
pocket.
biggest problem, well, I'm not concerned about me paying for it, just I don't know the logistics all are with that. I'm more worried with the hub seal with that rear end. Is it 3/4 ton or is it 1 ton, dually or non-dually?
Non-dually, I believe.
Non-dually, okay. So hopefully the rear hub bearing didn't let go. So what happens is bearings tend to wear, and if the hub goes up, the seal cuts into the bottom of the stub shaft, and wipes the rear end right out on that. You have to take that rear end, I can take that rear stub shaft out, take that hub out and see if it's scored. If it's scored, it needs a speedy sleeve, and I can save a lot over my rear end was just replaced, junkyard unit, rebuilt. But I can take a look at that truck and do it way, way cheaper.
The mechanic, yeah, possible. The mechanic that's at now, he checked it, he didn't say that the axle was loose or anything, he just said it just needed a new seal.
Seal.
The seal had failed.
The only way to tell if he tore it all apart,
Yeah.
be 100% sure on that. Just my 2 cents.
Right.
So it's at a mechanics right now?
It's at a certified garage right now.
Okay. David, I appreciate that offer. Thanks. And we'll bear that in mind in the future.
Yeah, except like January through March.
We know where the trees are that we can put down.
By then I'm above green.
Okay. I think we should go ahead and get the truck fixed and get this equipment up to snuff. So I move that we have the mechanic where it is now, have it looked at, fixed. Let's take care of it.
Okay. Second.
Any further discussion?
No?
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. David, thanks. I appreciate that. I gotta remember that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's something to talk to you about in the future.
Yeah.
Like the grader with electrical issue, that's easy enough, run on wire and everything like that.
It's already done.
Well, let me know from now on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All
Yeah.
right.
Work from Millis, right?
Okay. Okay. Must be right.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else on highway?
Lots I can think about. Oh, yes. The culverts on Hearst House Road.
Right.
The one below you that's collapsing needs to
Right.
be replaced. The culvert on Streeter Woods Road near Highway needs to be replaced. then the ones on the River Road need to be done with the collapsing.
Right. And then the one on River Road needs
So we need
to
to,
be.
so we need to look at subcontractors to do them.
Yeah, when you've completed your list, let's take a look at those subcontractors.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. Those need to be done. The one on Bruce House.
Especially before winter.
Yeah.
And then also on Clough Road, one of the culverts that was put in, they put rocks for header, and the rocks are sticking up above the culvert, probably like a foot, guessing anyways. And that needs to be taken care of because with the snow and stuff during the winter, try and plow it, they're gonna hit it with the plow and damage the plow.
Okay. All right. When we get a contractor, we'll make a list of the culverts that need work, and we'll also add the fixing up the Clough Road culvert. Yeah, I don't think the one on Bruce House is going to make it through another winter. So.
No, it's collapsing, especially right in the middle, because it was two culverts put together.
Okay. Okay, great.
And on the River Road near the dam, the Dorchester Town Line sign is missing.
Okay.
And also down on Providence Road, last Friday when I did my rounds of the roads, it looks like somebody has taken the road closed or bridge closed sign off down near the river, so it says reduce speed again. So that needs to be taken care of.
Okay. Jeez. How many of those signs we lost?
Several.
Yeah. Tom, do you know, are there any Dorchester Town Line signs at the highway yard?
I do not know.
Okay,
I doubt it, but
I doubt it, but let's take a look.
There's a bunch of signs down there that Van back in the middle that we took pictures of, with all kinds of road closures and speed bumps and all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Must be in the inventory, I would hope. because
Okay.
They're all there.
All right. Okay, well, let's hope there's a town line sign. Okay.
And one last thing. Yeah.
Okay.
I sound like Columbo now. Down on Cheever Road,
Right.
right before the end, what used to be the old Lennox homestead, I don't know who owns it now, but right before the line, somebody has dumped trash and stuff in the right of way of the road, and I've noticed it there for 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks that I've been going down. Something needs to be done with that.
All right. Is it, what kind of trash?
It's a TV and a bunch of metal and stuff.
Okay. I'll tell you, when we have the highway yard cleaned up, why don't we have that crew just pick up that stuff as well?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention something about the highway yard because I know that there's been some discussion in town about it and the bad shape it's in, and it's been brought up at these meetings. When we hire a new road agent, we will have the road agent direct the cleanup of the highway yard so that the highway yard is put into the shape that the new agent, he or she, wants it to be in with everything organized. It didn't seem to make financial sense to clean it up and then have to have a crew come back and say, oh, well, wait, we got to move this over here and stuff. So we'll do it all at once. It's going to be a big job, but hopefully when we're all over and done with, we've got an efficient, functional highway yard again. That would be nice.
I got one question.
Sure.
There's boards down there with nails and sticking up stuff. Should we do something about that before some? I mean, nobody's supposed to go in there, but if somebody does, they can step and get a nail in it for it or something.
Right, I know, I saw.
It's just little things like that that maybe we should take care of before if we can.
Let's see, any part-time employees, such as Larry Senior and Ernie, are covered by the town's policy, right? I believe as long as they're paid part-time.
Yeah.
So they could do it. Those boards, if they could just be sort of stacked and organized so that the nails are out of the way.
Right. Even just turned over so nobody can step on them.
I think that would be a good thing to do, just in case. Also, I wouldn't want some, you know, somebody's dog to go down in there and get caught up in those boards. Okay, all right.
I'm done.
Okay, all right.
Excuse me, before you go on, it's kind of hard for me to get out, but is there any way that you can get around the insurance restrictions on volunteer labor? mean, even if you paid like 50 cents an hour or whatever, so that we could get some of these things done.
Let
I
me
know
check with
that's
the,
come up again and again
Right.
over the years.
let me check with the insurance company about that. The liability issues are serious, and
Right.
that's the only reason why we're being cautious.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to put the town at risk in any case. If, I'm guessing, but I'll have to confirm this, I'm guessing that if you have volunteers sign a waiver, then you're fine. You know? So,
Well, you should consider that,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of work that people seem to be willing to do.
it would be great if we could have a, town work day down at the highway yard or something, just have a bunch of us down there working, at least make a dent in it, or just cleaning up the
Do the
TV.
stuff you can do safely
Yeah, that's
without,
right.
without using equipment and stuff.
Or like picking up spare TVs on the road. Is it flat screen?
It is now.
Yeah.
But now the ranger, what ranger?
All right.
Yeah, I went plug it in tonight.
Yeah. On to new business. Larry and I have, it may not look like there's been much progress with regard to a new selectman, but we have put a lot of thought into this, and there's been a lot of discussion back and forth across the entire summer. And so I want to make the motion that we appoint Mike Woodard as our third selectman to fill Maria White's seat.
I second it.
Any discussion? I'll say this, Mike's been here for all his meetings, he knows what he's getting into. All in favor? Mike, I don't know whether to offer you condolences or congratulations.
Both.
For both. We have a book here for you. Darlene, could you stay to the end of the meeting and swear him in?
I'd love to swear in.
Swear at him, swear
Okay.
him.
All right, you guys. Okay. All right, fantastic.
Just do the swearing before you swear him in.
Okay. And then, second, this was not on the agenda, and that's my oversight, but I move that we appoint Rachel Legg as deputy fire warden with authority to issue permits. Yes? Right.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Rachel, you're in. Okay.
With the state has to approve it now.
Oh, okay. All right.
This one.
All right, we have a couple of things here to sign. Okay. Your intent to cut. Fantastic. Softwoods.
Gonna make you some nothing. I promise you.
I'll get you a copy of this.
This one, yeah.
That's still on file. All right. We are changing the Visa card, taking Linda's name off and putting Anna's name on the town Visa card. All right. Under old business. Painting Town Hall. As you probably remember, we had a bid from Matt Dow that was given to us last year to paint the Town Hall. He's certified to remove lead-based paint. And he said he would hold to that bid for this year. I have tried numerous times to contact him, to schedule a date, to see, to follow up. We've tried emails, I've tried phone calls. I've had no response whatsoever. So at this point, I have to assume that Matt is not interested in doing the work anymore. And so I suggest that we put it out to bid and make sure that the bids that we receive have to be from somebody who's certified to deal with lead paint.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We want to put in the paper or just go approach people who do the work?
I think we should approach people who do the work.
Because I know there was a few that I contacted before.
Okay. All right, great. And as long as they can provide documentation.
Yes, they have to let certified, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, great. Okay, we will try and get this building painted done before the winter comes, but no guarantees. It depends on, I'm frankly disappointed that we never heard from Matt.
It is a pretty busy time of the year for building.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like probably the most busiest time of the year right now.
He's up straight.
I guarantee that's probably.
It's been months.
Oh yeah.
Okay, all right, well, that's all right.
Just for calling.
Okay, all right.
No, they'll probably call tonight.
Well, we have to wait until next spring. Okay.
Most of the people I talked to couldn't do it till next summer because they were so busy.
Okay.
But
All
they're
right.
still booking for next summer.
Okay, all right. Well, it'd be important to get it done, so the sooner the better, but we have to wait for a year. All right.
On old business,
Yeah.
one other thing is we're still checking into the RSA books, the LexisNexis.
I called the account manager, she has not returned my call, I've got several weeks.
Okay, so we're still working on that.
Okay. Great.
I did remember this time.
Okay. All right, public input. Comments from anybody? John?
Excuse me, I'll put it up right there, so.
Okay.
I've noticed you spend a lot of time on the website explaining about keys to the town building.
Right.
And you have to take steps to get the locks changed.
Right.
Which is very important. Now, I presume who has access of the selectman, town clerk, the tax collector, of course there is a town clerk, the deputy tax collector, and the deputy town clerk, the administrative assistant,
Yeah.
Treasurer,
Yeah,
and is that it?
That's it.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I'm just looking, making sure that don't go any further. That's probably the group that needs it. And if someone else wants it, then you guys can make arrangements for them to retrieve it from one of you or Anna or someone else.
Okay. Yes.
Oh, one more thing. Anna, you got my paperwork, and my goof up with the attachments. So we're going to be ordering the second AED for the town office, and then it's going to be a workshop.
Yeah. All right. Great. All right. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Oh, yes.
I don't know if everybody knows, but probably mostly everybody knows that we lost Longhorn.
Right. Thank you for bringing
That's
that up.
been a long-time resident,
That's
very
right.
special.
Yes, there's the obituaries in the Valley
Yes.
News. It's a nice read.
Yeah.
I had no idea he had a long career at the New York Public Library. That was
Oh, he was one good artist. They
Yeah.
had a thing up here, I can't remember, do you remember how many years ago? They had that open house up here with all his paintings
Oh, yeah.
and stuff. Yeah, it was a very special
All right.
place.
Allie, thank you for bringing that up. I appreciate that.
We did several paintings of some of the buildings on the common too, which are somewhere in the historical.
Oh, yeah? Okay. It'd be nice if I could get those out and get them back up so people can see. The only thing I wanted to say was Dorchester's been in the news lately. I think we all became avid readers of the Valley News for at least one day. Any comments? I want to say two things about that story. One is my career is journalism. I've been a journalist and editor for more than 30 years. I've written for local, national, and international publications. I was a correspondent for The Economist magazine in London for 20 years. And I have to say, reading that article, I thought it was pretty accurate. It said the facts. There were a few minor errors. I did not know that we all lived in a bedroom community. There were a few other small things too, but overall, I thought the story was accurate. The second thing I want to say, though, is that as a resident and as a public official and as a property owner, that story really upset me. I hate to see our town's dirty laundry hung out to dry for everybody to take a look at and point at and laugh at. But the truth is, the reporter just came and gathered up information and organized it. We're the ones who wrote that story. That's us. There's a great old line in the old comic strip called Pogo, where one of the characters says, "We have met the enemy, and he is us." We're the ones who created that. And so if we want a different kind of story about Dorchester to appear in the news, and I hope we all do, we have to create it ourselves. I grew up in the Bay Area. There was a radio broadcaster out there, a newscaster, and he had a saying, "If you don't like the news, go out and make some of your own." And that's what we have to do. At the end of the conversation I had with the reporter, I said, you asked me about old home days, and I said, well, there's been some conversation about bringing that back, and we'd love to, and it would be a good thing for the town, and there's some humps to get over, but maybe it could happen. And he said, if you ever do that, I'd really love to come back and write about that happening. So we have an invitation to create a whole different kind of story about Dorchester that could appear in the Valley News. It won't happen tomorrow, and it won't happen next week, but it can happen, and it's up to us to do it.
Just to back up on what you're saying, Steve, the other towns have had issues too.
Oh, yeah.
The town of Canaan a few years ago, the chairman of the board, they fired everybody in town. They fired the bookkeeper, they fired the administrative assistant, everybody left. And Canaan got to be known as Clown Town. For a while. Then it passes. And the town of Orange, I think just last year, the whole board of selectmen resigned.
Yeah.
The head of it, and the court had to put people in that thing. So we're not the only one who have woes.
No, thank you, John, for mentioning that, because you can read an article like that and it sounds like we are the only ones. But you're absolutely right. A lot of towns have had struggles like this. Small towns, people kind of bump up against each other and personality differences. I do feel strongly that once we have a new road agent in place and roads are being worked on and people are happy with it, that's going to change a lot of things in town.
I think we're kind of on the right road for that to start anyway.
I think so too. Thank you for saying so, Becky. I think so too.
Just keep looking forward.
Okay. That's our meeting for tonight. Again, I appreciate everybody coming out on a warm, humid day when you'd rather be sitting in front of a fan. But thanks, Andrew. Oh, I'm sorry.
Do you have any checks for us?
Can I talk to you about that afterwards? No. I don't understand what
I talked to Artie about it.
Yeah.
I told him what I need was 4 checks per employee, so it has to be with having checks. It can't be just made to one person or put the check that they got was for, which wasn't even for someone who
Right.
submitted the bill for. So we need 4 checks. We need 2 for withholding for wages and 2 for not withholding for mileage spent. I drove one time and he drove it.
Okay.
So that's what we're looking for. And I told Artie that he's supposed to be here tonight.
Well, he was earlier. Okay.
All right.
I'm sorry. Okay. Thank you, folks. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Good job.
Good.